G'day guys and welcome back to ADOS the Great YouTube channel. Alright guys, so it is grand final week. I am super excited. We have 3 amazing games to talk about. So I guess we will just jump straight in. So before we give our predictions and preview each of these games, I'm just going to basically tell you what I'm going to do for each of them. So for the National State Championship between the Rabbitohs and Tigers there, I will be giving 3 players to watch for each team. And then I'll be giving you my tip and my player of the match. For the NRLW game, the same thing, 3 players to watch and my tip and player of the match. And then for the Panthers and Broncos NRL Grand Final, I'll go through in a little bit more detail about it, some of the stats behind this, a few matchups in that one, and then obviously my predictions for the game. All right, but the first game we've got is the South Sydney Rabbitohs against the Brisbane Tigers. This will be the 1:20 p.m. game on Sunday afternoon. Now, my 3 players to watch from each team, and apologies in advance if I pronounce any of these names wrong. I'm very sorry if I do, but I'll try not to. All right, so for the Rabbitohs, Dean Hawkins. I think Dean's going to have a massive game in this one. He is generally playing for a number 7 jersey next year, I believe, and I really think he's won the grand final. They've got that job done, but I think he's going to want to ice this national championship, and I think he's going to take it a step further, to be honest. The next player, Ethan O'Neill, second rower. He is an absolute weapon. He is such a talented football player. Scored a try for the Rabbitohs on the weekend against the Bears, and I think he scores another one, if I'm being completely honest. He is just such a dangerous player. He's always there around the ball, ready to get it. He's pretty hungry for those meat pies, and I reckon he'll get another one. Then finally for the Rabbitohs, Tallis Duncan. Definitely a similar build to Cameron Murray. He's got that, he follows up. If a player makes a break, he's there in support. He's got good ball handling. He's just such a talented player. He is literally a mould of Cameron Murray, and I think we're going to see a massive game from him. All right, from the Brisbane Tigers, who are obviously the Melbourne Storm feeder team up there in the Queensland Cup. My first player to watch, apologies again if I get this wrong, is Solomona Fa'atape. Hopefully I pronounced that right. He's a centre there. He killed it against the Capras. I think he ran for well over 200 metres. Pretty sure he scored a try there as well. He breaks tackles. He does everything you want from a centre. He will be tough to stop. He really will. Next up, another centre, Kane Bradley. I believe he came through the Cowboys system. He's looking really good there for the Brisbane Tigers. He was I believe he was the man of the match against the Capras a couple of weeks back there, and he's a damaging centre as well. Very, very entertaining player to watch. Then finally, a player that we've seen come through the Melbourne Storm system. I know he's definitely been around that Storm system for a while. That is the captain, Riley Jacks. One of the halves there for the Tigers. So, yeah, they're my 3 players to watch for each side. My tip in this one, I do think the Rabbitohs get the job done in this one. I am backing them by 10 points. I think Dean Hawkins will have an outstanding game. I'm tipping him to get the man of the match honours there. Let me know your predictions for the Rabbitohs and Tigers game, guys. And now we move on to the NRLW, the women's game. How good has the women's league been this year? Outstanding. Like, these girls, they go hard. They really do. And you've got to give it to the Knights fans, because they are getting out supporting not only the men, but the women as well. And the Titans fans as well. Shout out to BKR, man. He's the biggest Titans supporter on the men's side and the women's. Like, it is insane how passionate that man is about his team. And you know what? He's going to be making sure these girls get the win. I had to pause there. He's going to be making sure these girls get the win against the Knights. So my 3 players to watch in for both these sides: Georgia Hale, just a damaging damaging forward for the Titans there. She is so good to watch. Such a good player. The fullback, I'm going to butcher this name, Ivania Pellet. I'm not 100% sure. I do apologise. But from what I've seen from her, she runs for like over 200 metres a game. She's an absolute weapon. She's entertaining to watch. I think she's definitely a player to watch. And then my final one is Shannon Matto, front row forward, I believe, for the Titans. And again, she's an absolute beast. She gets through a lot of work there. And I think they're the three for me for the Titans. For the Knights, Tamika Upton is obviously there. Jessie Southwell, another young gun that just does such a good job for the Knights. Still very young as well. And then you got Caitlin Johnson, a big up the middle forward, gets through a load of work, just tough as nails. So they're my three there for the Knights, my six to watch for the game. My tip in this one, now this is a game I could genuinely see the Titans causing an upset in. However, my gut tells me the Knights do get a 13-plus win in this one. The Knights just seem to be the complete package. Now, don't get me wrong, the Titans they've had an amazing season, but the Knights to me are kind of like Penrith of the Women's League. They're so good. They're so switched on. I can't see them losing this one. There is a slight world where I do see the Titans causing an upset, but I doubt it. I'm tipping the Knights women's team there by 14. And Jessie Southwell is my player of the match. Well, actually, I asked the wife about that one, and she chose Jessie. So, yes, Jessie Southwell is our player of the match. All right, on to the Panthers versus Broncos, the NRL Grand Final for 2023. Very excited for this. My mouth is bloody dry. I'm going to have some water. All right, so Penrith Panthers versus Brisbane Broncos. Some stats to talk about. Panthers and Broncos have both won 5 games out of their last 10. So they're split in the middle with that 50-50 from their last 10. However, the Panthers are on a much better run as of late, winning 4 of their last 5 games. The last game they lost to the Broncos was earlier on in the season. I believe they lost 13-12 in that one. Win percentage for both these sides. Broncos have a 47% win percentage at a core, whereas the Panthers have a 50% win percentage. So both relatively close when it comes to wins at a core. However, recent form shows the Panthers have been really good playing at a core stadium, winning 9 of their past 11 games at a core, as well as they've won their past 8 finals matches, which is just crazy to think about. It really is. Brian Tato, here's another stat for you. Tato has scored 9 tries in his last 5 finals matches, so I definitely think he crosses for a try in this big game. All right, my 5 key matchups. Now, obviously, there's a lot of honourable mentions here. You've got Jordan Ricky up against Kurt Capewell. You've got Stephen Crichton there, or both Panthers centres, Crichton and Tungo, against Staggs and Farnworth. You've got Moses Leota against Flegler. You've got Kenny against Walters, like two, they're not really the first. If you think best dummy halves in the game, they're probably not coming to your mind. So that's a pretty good matchup in my opinion. You've then got Jerome Luai, Ezra Mann. Like there's several ones, but these are the 5 key ones that I have picked, and some stats to look at between the two. So we've got Dylan Edwards versus Reece Walsh, the battle of the fullbacks. Edwards, 12 tries, 146 tackle breaks, 203 average run meters, 12 try assists, 6 tackle breaks per game. Whereas Reece Walsh, kind of similar, 9 tries, 117 tackle breaks, but he has played less games, 153 run meters, 25 try assists, and 5 tackle breaks a game. So very similar, but very different fullbacks. You got Walshy he gets his hands on the ball a lot more and sets up more tries, whereas Dylan Edwards makes more meters, gets through more work. Look, I think they're similar but unique at the same time, if you know what I mean. That's my first matchup. My second, look, I don't know if I'm not too sure where they line up on the field. I do apologise, haven't done that much research, but Brian Tutto versus Selwyn Cobbo. Look, I think that these two, we've got to check the stats against each other because they're just, both players are insanely talented, but it just shows the level that To'o is at, in my opinion. So Brian To'o has scored 21 tries, 104 tackle breaks, 201 metres per game, 24 line breaks and 5 tackle breaks, which is actually very similar to Cobbo's 20 tries, 108 tackle breaks, 149 metres per game, 21 line breaks and 5 tackle breaks. Like the Dylan Edwards, Reece Walsh, the only real change between the two is To'o makes about 50 more metres per game than Cobbo. But yeah, very, very similar players. It's just To'o gets through a little bit more work there than Cobbo. So that was my second key matchup there. My third one is a pretty obvious one, Nathan Cleary versus Adam Reynolds. And again, two very similar players, but a big difference in kick meters and run meters, and we'll look at that in a second. So both players have 19 try assists. Cleary has 18 line break assists. Reynolds has 16. Cleary has 475 average kick meters, whereas Reynolds has 417. And then the big one is Cleary runs for 73 meters more than Reynolds per game. 123 run meters for Cleary, 50 for Reynolds. So, look, Cleary, in my opinion, is the best halfback in the world. I will continue to say that. Obviously, Sean Johnson is probably going to win the Dally M, but I think Nathan Cleary is definitely the best halfback in the world at the moment, and I don't think there'll be too many halfbacks that surpass him now. I think he is just really at that level. Obviously, DCE is up there because of what he does at Origin level, but Cleary is outstanding. He really, really is. Reynolds is key to this Broncos side, though, because of he does have a fantastic kicking game. The short kicking game near the end goal is just, he's got that ball on a string, and the long kicking game is fantastic as well. Like, both players have their unique, I don't know the word I'm thinking of here, styles, I guess you could say, that work for them. So, you can't look too much into stats here, but I just find it interesting to compare. The next one is the forwards, Payne Haas and James Fisher-Harris. Now, when you look at this, you're going to go, wow, Payne Haas is a completely different beast. But I think in finals, Fisher-Harris, he just flicks a switch and turns it on. But on average, over the season, Fisher-Harris has 13 hit-ups a game, whereas Haas has 16. Fisher-Harris, 45 post-contact meters. Haas, 73. Average run meters, 128 for Fisher-Harris, 189 for Haas. And they both make 28 tackles per game. So obviously you look at those stats and it's pretty obvious who the better front rower is. But I think in Origin that gets, in finals footy, that gets completely dismissed. Both players on their day can be the best player on the field, in my honest opinion. All right, the final matchup is Isaiah Yeo versus Paddy Carrigan. This one is very, very similar, really similar. The only thing is Carrigan gets through a lot more attacking work, whereas Yeo gets through a bit more defensive work. We'll look at that in a second. So Yeo has 12 hit-ups per game, Carrigan 16. Yeo makes 48 post-contact meters, Carrigan 53. Yeo has 160 average run meters, whereas Carrigan has 158. Isaiah Yeo makes 39 tackles per game at 97% efficiency, whereas Carrigan 33 tackles at 94% efficiency. So you can see what I'm kind of saying there. Yeo a little more defensive minded than Carrigan, whereas Carrigan gets through a little bit more, a few more hit ups per game and makes that a little bit more post contact meters. However, he does average slightly less average run meters per game. All right, let's talk predictions for this game. So my pick for this one is the Panthers will grind it out for a good 60 minutes, but then just run away with it, I think. I'm backing the Panthers 1-12, but I'm going to say 12 points. I think it'll be on the higher end of a 1-12 margin. If I'm giving you a score prediction, let's just go 22-10 to the Panthers. Then my first try scorer for the day, I'm going Brian To'o. He's a proven try scorer. He loves a try in finals. Scored first last week. I think he scores first again. So Brian To'o, my first try scorer. And anytime try scorer, Jordan Ricky, he's always there supporting the ball players. I think he'll cross the line at least once in this game. I'd be very surprised if he didn't, to be honest. And then my Clive Churchill medal prediction is Nathan Cleary. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for me. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And guys, let me know down below in the comments who you're backing. Let me know why. And as always, my friends, I shall see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.